Afternoon, YouTube. I thought I would come tell y'all a true story about myself and how excuse me for a second, and how my mind got changed, my heart got changed for a second. You know, like my title say, I grew up a racist, just based on the police, you know, family talk and just staying away from the police and just street shit, you know. So I never liked the police and white people just based on what was going on with us, you know, and being young minded. And so I always just was pro black. And so, you know, that's how I moved around. But this story is about a little bit of history and what happened to me on the highway of I-75 and how it changed my views in a way. Is individual to individual, but you know, I still got some of my old thought processes, and you know, if you give me time, I'll tell you why. So I went to a major university on a basketball scholarship. I went to Long Beach State University, and while attending student athlete, I was a history major, and during the Black History courses, I got a lot of information about, you know, how blacks was coming together and always being pushed back by the government, and it just blew my mind. But at the time, I really was not really too much caring because I was an athlete, and so yeah, I was just trying to get my grades, and so I could, you know, be eligible and things like that. It really didn't hit me because I wasn't really in the world yet. I was just in the extension of high school playing Division I sports, and so it never really hit me what I was learning at the capacity that it would later on in life when I started, you know, dealing with politics and seeing certain things and understanding history in depth. But like I say, I was a history major, and I learned about the Marcus Garvey, the Frederick Pattersons, Frederick Douglass Pattersons, etc. I learned about all of them. W.E.B.D. Du Bois, just all of them in the struggle. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all the stuff they understood at that time. And so I grew up kind of like not hating white people, but I just had I grew up with a distaste for what was going on in my neighborhood and around the country. And so, like I said, when I got older, I started to really understand it was a major reason for me to learn all that, you know, because I'm one of them guys who gonna be on the front line, you know what I'm saying? And so fast forward one time, the gist of the story has take place in Georgia and Michigan. So what happened was I, at the time, was trying out for the Atlanta Hawks and working out on my game. And in Atlanta, I was staying in Lawrenceville, and I was trying to continue my career. And I hadn't needed a car to get around, you know, because I had agents and friends and family. But I had bought this this old school car because I'm coming from California, and so while I was in California, I started to see things of materials that I like the way they cars and just a lot of different shit. So when I got home, I had bought me an old school, a 1967 Chevy Bel Air. And, I didn't know nothing about cars. And I come from my dad is a master mechanic. And so, but at the time, like I said, I'm trying to play ball. I don't want to get dirty and shit like that. And so I told my dad from the phone that I just got this car and I'm going to drive it back home. So I didn't know if it had oil in the motherfucker or not. I think I checked the oil. I'm almost certain I checked the oil. But when I think about it, I didn't do nothing to the capacity of a person who understood what this car about to take on. I was just heading home. And so I got a battery and I got this car started and I drove it all the way to Michigan from Georgia, about 14 hours. It was a funny trip because all I can remember hearing was, ew, 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 all the whole trip. Because people was passing me like a mother. The whole trip, people was passing me up, right? So, 1 second, y'all. Let me go get this coconut water. Oh, man, I left my keys. 1 second. I'm back. Let me close this up. So, what was that? So, all I heard was pew, pew, pew. The whole way down there. I ain't lying. But I made it home. I remember showing my dad what kind of car I got, what kind of car I bought. I knew he liked cars, so this was right up his alley. So immediately when I get that car in, I already know I'm going to have to start learning some stuff and doing some stuff with this car because I want to keep up with the car, So right then and there, my dad see that the car made it, so it must be decent enough engine if it made it all the way. So what he did, he fixed my ball joint, and he damn, I left my blunt outside. He fixed my ball joint. I ain't even gotta roll this, and he fixed my tie rods. So you can imagine on my way back, I'm feeling very confident if I made it there. And once I got an upgrade, a couple little upgrades, I'm like, boom, I should be good. So I hopped back on the road. Now this is where the story talks about this white guy who helped me out and really made me realize there's some good people in all races, And what I was thinking was a closed mind and sort of a way. But it helped me figure some things out. But so I get on the road. When I get on the road, I'm driving a little faster. I'm feeling a little bit more confident. I get past Ohio. I get to I get to Kentucky. Now I'm on 75, straight shot. From Michigan to Georgia. Once I get to 85, I'm straight. That's the same damn highway. So I'm taking a straight shot. So I get to Kentucky in one of the smallest cities of Kentucky. I want to say Orlando, Kentucky. It's just a small city. So I'm riding at night. And I hear, because I figured if I ride at night, I'd be a little bit less traffic. So I get to riding that night, and when I get to Kentucky, when I get to Kentucky on this bridge, 75, a small little bridge, I just hear this noise. I turn the car off and roll, excuse me, I'm scratching my thumb, and roll to the side. I remember. And at that moment, I'm kind of fucked up. I'm like, oh my God. I don't know nothing about cars. You know, my money ain't where it's supposed to be. And I'm really like just fucked up. So I see all this smoke going in the car. I pop the hood, turn the flashers on, and I open the hood and all the smoke come out. I noticed at the time I didn't know what the fuck had happened, but my belt was all tangled up. And so my water pump was all fucked up, blew off. I had coolant everywhere. To me, it looked like a catastrophe. I'm like, oh my God. That shit would be like fixing a door lock for me now, but at the time, that shit was just mentally blew my mind because I got to get back to the crib in Georgia. So I'm sitting around and out of nowhere, 2 Mexicans pull up. Now I'm on high alert. You know, I don't know where the fuck they going, but when they pull up, I make sure I'm in the back seat and I'm watching everything because I'm by myself. You know, I'm on high alert. And these 2 Mexicans, they take me to the nearest gas station, right? Because, from where I was, the nearest gas station is about 3-4 miles. You know how you ride on the highway, you get a gas stop every 4-5 miles. So they drop me off at the gas station. Now, this the kicker. This is where it get funny. Now, when I get to the gas, I tell them, thank y'all. We ride 3-4 miles. I tell them, thank y'all, man. I really appreciate y'all. And they get on the highway and keep going. Now, I'm so damn fucked up, I watched them get on the highway like, damn. My car's still on the highway. Like, I was sad because I didn't got this car and I really wanted to, do it up. And I ended up doing that. But at this time, I just needed to get it back so I could put shit together. You know what I'm saying? Start my situation. And so, next thing I know, I see they tail lights get off in the wind and I don't see them no more. So I remember turning to the gas station because I heard some noise. And when I looked, I seen an old lady and this white dude named Brian. And so I immediately zoned in on what she was saying. And what she was saying was her car was messed up. Her car had cut off. And Brian was assisting her. So I goes and I kind of make myself announce my presence and let them know that pretty much I got the same situation. My car just stopped down here. So he takes me in the gas station and tells me to just the tow truck number. And he tells me, he get me back outside and the lady, both of us together. He say, listen, both of you guys' cars. Now I'm watching this guy. You know, he younger. He younger than me, but everybody around me is white. I'm in like a small town in Kentucky. So I'm watching everybody like a hawk. Because, you know, I'm young and I'm just like, I still got these thought processes and I know I'm in a hick town. I don't see that in black soul. I'm like, oh my God. But Brian tells me in the lady, he say, listen, it's nighttime. He say, listen, the tow truck is gonna bring you guys truck to this particular place. It's kind of close to my house. What you guys should do is go with your cars and sleep in the cars because it was hot outside. And so that's what we ended up doing. He said, I'll be over there in the morning. I'm like, okay. So now this place opened up at 8. So me and this lady, I watched over this white lady, made sure she was good because I couldn't go to sleep. All I was thinking about was motherfucking mob tapping on my door or some shit. Where the car was parked at the mechanic shop, it was one street through the whole town. Then you hop back on 75. That's how small the town was. So the place is getting ready to open at 8. I remember it being like 7:30. And here come Brian, like he said he would. He pulls up. He pops my trunk and he says, Charles, I'm going to be honest with you. These white guys in this shop is going to try to fuck over you. He said, what we're going to do is we're going to push your car across the street. Now, when we start pushing this car, watch how they start looking at me. Now, the white lady, she was going to get her shit pulled in like a regular service. He told me, no, don't do that. They going to fuck over you. He didn't know that I didn't have the money to be fucked over. My shit would have had to stay. And so we started pushing the car across the street at a restaurant. And when I tell you these white guys was looking at at Brian like they wanted to kill this motherfucker, like what the fuck is you doing, right? Apparently, they did. I don't know, but it seemed like they had a run-in before, because Brian knew too much about what was about to transpire before it even happened. And everything he said was on point. He said, listen, your water pump is blown. We're going to go get you a water pump. We're going to fix it right here. And we're going to fix it right here in the parking lot. So we lock the doors. And Brian takes me to AutoZone. We get a water pump. The water pump costs $11. It's an old school car. It's an old school pump. We get the gasket. We put the water pump on right there. Tighten everything up. Put the belt back on. Tighten that up. And I was back on the road. And he said, Charles, if you want to take a shower before you get on the road, just follow me. And he had an old school car too. He had a yellow and black something. It was an old school though. It gets even more interesting. So I started following him. Now again, even though Brian had did this shit, I got this misconception that white people is, I really ain't have a lot of white friends. I was an athlete. I had one white teammate, and he was cool as fuck, Aaron Peavy. And, it was all good. But I just really didn't have a lot. And where I'm from, it just wasn't like that. And, a lot of bad dealings with the police in my neighborhood. And so the police and and white people just always won, you know. And so I follow him. Now, when I started following him, we started going through like dirt roads and shit. And I'm like, oh shit. He lived in a trailer park, but his trailer, it wasn't like traditional where they just lined up next to each other. So he had space in between them, like a real house. And so he takes me in his house. And when he takes me in his house, he introduced me to his wife and his son. Now, his son was 2 years old, and his son had never seen a black man. And, and he told me, he said, bro, you got to excuse my son. He never seen a black person before. And that fucked me up. I'm like, damn, I knew low key that I was in a hick town. I ain't seen not one black person the time I was there. And like I said, the town was so small. You get off the highway, you start seeing motherfucking buildings, car shop, little stores, like they downtown. And not only a mile or two, you right back on the highway and you out the town. Which is the weirdest thing. So he introduced me to his wife. And he introduced to his little son. His son had never seen a black man, and he grabbed his leg real tight, like like he was spooked, like he literally thought he seen a ghost. Like, what? It's people that look like this. So I'm like, wow. And he was like, have you ever had deer? This is the first time and the only time I ever ate venison in my life. And he said, have you ever ate deer? I said, no. I said, I tried. His wife cooked up some venison, which was deer meat, biscuits and gravy. And he gave me a towel, and I went in there and took a quick shower. And the funny thing, I still was just like panicked because, you know, I'm young too, but I'm older than him. I took a shower with the curtains open. Just because I didn't trust nobody. I was slowly calming down. But I just was just like, I just came, the way I grew up, I was just in disbelief, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I had went to college and got them history lessons, and I had been like one of the guys who just started to really see how America was. What, where, why, and how. And so I just had these predispositions against certain groups, you know. And so what I did was I took a shower and I got dressed with the same clothes. But I was so happy because all through the night and laying on the car and fixing the car with him, I had accumulated a nice little layer of dirt. To get back on the road would have been cool because, you know, I was safe now, but to get back on with clean, I was in full, I was just that much better. And so we ate and we talked, and he showed me, you know, taught me a little bit about cars. But the key, one thing he did was I noticed he had a yellow car, and all his tools, he had a tool set, and all his tools had a yellow and black ring. And he said, Charles, you know, man, I just really appreciate your company. I want to give you this crescent wrench to always remember me, man. And so I took the crescent wrench, and I got back on the highway. I thanked his family, and I figured my way out. He told me how to get out of his little cul-de-sac. And when I got on 75, man, I cried like a baby. He gave me his address, and I eventually wrote him and just told him how much I thank him for that. And, you know, I never mentioned to him how he really helped me and changed my life, you know, and changed my life based on the whole race. I started to I even started to have compassion for certain races. I just say that, even though we all know I'm talking about white people. I even started to have compassion because even though they was lying and cheating with us and shit wasn't equal, they was lying to them and making them believe they was something that they wasn't. And to see them at times live in that confidence while people was being hurt, living that ownership while people was being hurt. You know, it just messed me up that this dude would do that for me, you know what I'm saying? And bring me in his house. I cried like a baby, man. I thank God all the way. Because I was in Kentucky, so I probably had like another 6 hours. I literally believe I cried all the way. It wasn't a state I didn't stop thinking about Brian. You know what I'm saying? I never stopped thinking about him all the way to this day, man, because he one of the people who helped me have compassion and helped me wanting to just be a helping hand anywhere you can, you know what I'm saying? But man, y'all was tuned in to the Charles O'Neal Show. This is my story about me growing up as a racist, getting intel and understanding why I felt like I felt, but having a moment where a white man changed my life. And also the Mexican guys, they was the first blessing. They gave me a ride to the gas station, ironically, to my next blessing, which was Brian. And so that's my story for today, man. Y'all stay careful out there and stay around good people, you know. And, keep that love in your heart, and don't let this world stop you from having love in your heart. It's a messed up world, it's a messed up people, but don't let that stop you from locking in to the love you have in your heart. Peace.